The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please come to the floor and take seats. All members will come to the floor of the House. Clerk will ring the bell. All members of the House will please come to the floor. I know we're about 5 minutes behind, but it's my understanding the Rules Committee has just adjourned, and so we're going to hold up here a minute or two before we do the roll call. We're not going to hold up from coming to your seats. We're just going to hold up from taking the roll call. So Chair would ask everyone to be making their way into the chamber. All right, I think the Rules Committee, I see the chairman here. I'm going to ask all members again. Clerk, ring the bell one more time, and then we're going to do the roll call. We're about to have the morning roll call. All members of the House, all members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Well, good morning. This is sort of our Friday, so got a lot of business to get done today. We've got bills on the rules calendar. We've got some other business, and Mr. Leader, do you have a resolution that you're going to discuss with us later this morning? Maybe? Okay, might have a resolution. We're going to have scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 76th House District, Representative Sandra Scott. Representative Scott.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to you all. The Reverend Arthur L. Powell was born in Valdosta, Georgia, and later became a native of Decatur, Georgia. The Lord saved Reverend Powell in 1972 and called him into the gospel ministry in 1974. The first sermon he preached was taken from the book of Psalms 25:2, and the title was, "Lord, Let Me Not Be Ashamed." Reverend Powell was ordained by the Thankful Baptist Church in 1979. He has served as pastor of the Travelers Rest Missionary Baptist Church, Morrow, Georgia, since 1986. By the grace of God, under Pastor Powell's leadership, the congregation has grown to over 1,500 members. Reverend Powell had a vision of a new church. In 1992, the church purchased 7 acres of land on Rex Road. Through many prayers, the dedication of a faithful building committee, and a committed church family, Pastor Powell's vision became a reality. The new building with an educational wing was built. In July 1999, Reverend Powell led the congregation as they marched in the new edifice. June 16, 2004, through much faith, the church opened a Christian bookstore, Genesis Christian Bookstore. In February of 2009, Pastor Powell's vision of a community life center came to pass when the church held the grand opening ceremony inside the Family Life Center. Reverend Powell attended Morehouse College, and he graduated from DeKalb College and Carver Bible College. Pastor Powell is the president of the Association of Christian Ministers of Clayton County, with a membership of 10,000, and he is a lifetime member of the Clayton County NAACP. Reverend Arthur L. Powell resides in Henry County area with his devoted wife, Diane. Let me introduce to you the only pastor with the greatest church in Clayton County, Reverend Arthur L. Powell.
Now, if I was at Travelers Rest, I'd say, let the church say amen. We honor God, who is the head of the house, and to Speaker Ralston, certainly our Representative Scott, and to all of you members of this house, this august body. I'm honored to have been asked to come and just say a couple of words on behalf of the Lord to you today in such a time as these. God is able to do anything but fail. And so, first, you want to lead them in prayer? I think I got it backwards, but we're going to say a word or two, and then we're going to go into prayer. Amen. I'd like to just talk a little bit to you about we will prevail. We will prevail. And the thought process of that assurance comes to us out of the gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 16. The gospel according to Matthew chapter 16, where Jesus talks with his disciples about the opinion that people may have of him. In that 16th chapter of Matthew, he asked Peter a couple of questions, and Peter responded. And as he listened to Peter's response, he said to him in the 18th verse there of the 16th chapter of Matthew, when you get an opportunity, I would encourage you to read the entire chapter. But you'll find these words that he says to Peter. He says, "And I say unto you that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." And I take that to say that God and Christ has said to Peter and has said to all of us, at the end of the day, we come out winners. At the end of the day, we come out winners, because at the end of the day, when we go back to North Georgia, South Georgia, West Georgia, East Georgia, Atlanta, wherever we go, at the end of the day, when it's just you and God, or myself and God, at the end of the day, he lets us know we come out winners. I want to just sort of build that in this way. Jesus, as I stated a moment ago, inquired to Peter, says, Peter, or to his disciples, he says, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" In other words, I really don't think he was really interested in what the world thought of him, but he just wanted to sort of start the dialogue. So he said to them, Peter, or the disciples, "Who do men say I, the Son of Man, am?" And one of them said, some say that you're John the Baptist, some say you're Elijah, some say Jeremiah, or one of the great prophets. And as the discussion went on, he was okay with that. He sort of heard all of that. But then he got real personal. And can I just say to this house, it's personal. It's personal what we do. It's personal when we represent. It's personal, our relationship with him. So he asked his disciples, he says, "But who do you say that I am?" Then once again, Peter said that thou art the Christ, the Son of a living God. And that speaks volumes to us when we are doing whatever we're doing as it relates to our ministry. Amen. And can I just say to this house, whatever you do, it's ministry. If you know God as your Lord and Savior, and you realize Christ died and rose again and is now seated on the right-hand side of the Father, it's ministry. And whatever we do affects him. So he says, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of a living God." And Jesus said, "Peter, you didn't get that from some institution. You didn't get that from some discussion with someone. You didn't get that with some committee meeting, if you don't mind. But you got that response from my Father which is in heaven. And because you know who I am, Peter, upon this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Now, can I just say, when I say that we will prevail, doesn't mean that we won't have opposition. Doesn't mean that we won't have challenges. Doesn't mean that people won't come at us in an adverse way. But what it does mean, if you love the Lord with all of your heart, and He is on your side and you're on His side, at the end of the day, He says, you will prevail, and the gates of hell shall not prevail again. It'll rise up. People will talk about you. People will use you. People will try to abuse you. But because of Him, Satan will not prevail against you. In other words, at the end of the day, you're going to prevail. And I don't know about you, but I'm glad to know that wherever I am and wherever I may be, I will prevail. And so what I say in my closing remarks is that, yes, the church that we represent will prevail. Brothers and sisters, individually, we will prevail. As I stated a moment ago, the house will prevail. Amen. The gates of hell shall not prevail. Amen. Regardless to where we are in our political persuasion, if we are with Christ, we will prevail. So the governor, he will prevail. Georgia will prevail. America will prevail. We will prevail if we, amen, stay connected to Him and let Him lead us and guide us along the way. Shall we pray? Father, we thank You for assuring us that at the end of the day, we will prevail. Continue to bless our homes, bless our families, bless, Lord, our ministries, bless, Lord, what we do for You. Keep us in Your will and in Your way. We commit our life to You afresh, anew. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Brother,
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful message. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes Chairman Sims, the Chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journals of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Sims, the Chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. O'Neill, the 146, may the following be established order of business of the first part of period unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading of reference, bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage, uncontested local bills, morning orders, rules, calendar, privilege resolutions, through the resolution establishing order of business for this legislative day.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 603, by Representative Evans, 42nd Amendment entitled Act Midnight Creating State Court Cobb County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 604 by Representative Jones, 47th, the bill being title act providing for determination mileage rates, governing authorities, Fulton County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 605 by Representative Neal, second, bill being title act, amendment title 16, relating to regulation of controlled substances.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 606 by Representative Knight, 130th, bill being title act, amendment title 31, relating to private home care
Health
providers.
and Human Services.
House Bill 607 by Representative Waits, the 60th, bill to be entitled act relating to water suppliers cut off of water to premises.
Judiciary.
Through the first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
HB 582 by Representative Green of the 151st, a bill relating to probation. HB 583 by Representative Knight of the 130th. Bill to authorize the municipal court of the city of Griffin to charge a technology fee for each civil case and criminal fine imposed. HB 584 by Representative Rogers of the 10th. A bill to provide a new charter for the city of Cleveland. HB 585 by Representative Jackson of the 128th. A bill to provide a new charter for the city of Davisboro. HB 586 by Representative Black of the 174th, a bill to provide for the creation of one or more community improvement districts in the city of Kingsland. HB 587 by Representative Bentley of the 139th, a bill to amend an act to provide for the Board of Education of Dooley County. HB 588 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, a bill to amend an act changing the compensation of the clerk of the Superior Court, the sheriff, and the judge of the probate court of Cobb County from a fee system to the salary system. HB 589 by Representative Jackson of the 128th, a bill to amend an act to reconstitute Board of Education of Washington County. HB 590 by Representative Kelly of the 16th, the bill to amend an act providing a new Board of Education, Polk County. HB 591 by Representative Glanton of the 75th, a bill repealing an act creating a Code of Ethics and Ethics Commission for Clayton County School System. HB 592 by Representative Nimmer of the 178th, the bill to amend an act establishing the State Court of Pierce County. HB 593 by Representative Jackson of the 128th, the bill to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Washington County. HB 594 by Representative Martin of the 49th, the bill to amend an act to completely and exhaustively revise, supersede, consolidate, replace all the laws and amendments thereto pertaining to the Fulton County Personnel Board of the Fulton County Merit System of Personnel Administration. HB 595 by Representative Harrell of the 106, a bill relating to general provisions relative to solid waste management. HB 596 by Representative Pruitt of the 149th, a bill to amend an act reapportioning the election districts, Board of Education, Telfair County. HB 597 by Representative Pruitt of the 149th, a bill to provide for a non-binding advisory referendum for purposes of ascertaining whether the General Assembly should enact legislation authorizing the City of Scotland to select its mayor and city council members to serve 4-year terms. HB 598 by Representative Willard of the 51st, a bill to provide Fulton County employees first or again employed on or after July 1st, 2013 to serve the Superior Court of Fulton County. The Magistrate Court of Fulton County, State Court of Fulton County shall be employees at will. HB 599 by Representative Green of the 151st, a bill to authorize the governing authority of the City of Albany to levy an excise tax. HB 600 by Representative Powell of the 171st, a bill to create the City of Bainbridge Public Facilities Authority. HB 601 by Representative Maxwell of the 17th, a bill relating to the Judges and Probate Courts Retirement Fund of Georgia. HB 602 by Representative Chokas of the 138th, a bill to create America's Sumter County Land Bank Authority. HR 719 by Representative Waits of the 60th, resolution honoring the life of Mr. John Charles Burdine Jr. and dedicating a bridge in his memory. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Benton, Chairman Committee on Human Relations and Aging, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Human Relations and Aging, considering the following bill in the Senate, struck me report back the same to the House with following recommendations. Senate Bill 14, due pass. Respect submitted, Representative Benton, Chair. Representative Sims, 169, Chairman Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination has had in consideration following bills of the House, struck me report same back to the House, following recommendation. House Bill 569, 570, 573, 574, 576, 578, due pass. Respect submitted, Representative Sims, Chair. Representative Golick of the 40th, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary and Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Judiciary and Non-Civil has had in consideration following bills of the Senate, struck me report same back to the House, following recommendations. Senate Bill 96, 134, due pass. Senate Bill 170, 187, due pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 204, due pass. Respect submitted, Representative Golick, Chairman. Representative Rice, 95th, Chairman, Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles under consideration following bill of Senate instruct me to report the same back to House. Following recommendation, Senate Bill 122, due pass, respect submitted. Representative Rice, Chair. Representative Maxwell, 17th. Chairman, Committee on Regulated Industry, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Regulated Industry is under consideration following bill of Senate instruct me to report the same back to House with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 128, due pass, respect submitted. Representative Maxwell, Chair. Representative Donahue of the 30th, Vice Chairman, Committee on State Property, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on State Property is under consideration of the following resolution of the Senate. Instruct me to report the same back to House following recommendation. Senate Resolution 113, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Donahue, Vice Chair, through the committee reports.
All right, we're about to go on to the local calendar. We're about to start voting on measures. We're going on to the local calendar. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 569, Representative Peake, 141st, Bibb County. House Bill 570 by Representative Peake, 141st, Bibb County. House Bill 573 by Representative Dixon, 6th, Whitfield County. House Bill 574 by Representative Riley, 150th, Fulton County. House Bill 576 by Representative Hardin, 148th, Wilcox County. House Bill 578 by Representative Harbin, 122nd, Columbia County. Before going local bills have been before the House Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination. Committee recommends the bills do pass. Bills are being read today for the third time.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall the bills on the local calendar now pass? All those in favor of passage of the bills will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of the bills on the local calendar. The ayes are 151, the nays are 1. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. All right, we're going on to morning orders. The chair is going to ask all members to please take their seats while they are in the chamber. We've got a lot of traffic in the aisles. Let's show respect and give attention to the members who are in the well on morning orders. Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Al Williams. Representative Williams for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask the members of the Savannah delegation to include Effingham County and Chairman Yates? Would you ask Chairman Yates if you'd join us up here, please? And I've also asked that Representative Holcomb and Representative Seltzer, who served with the third ID, if they would join me also. I rise this morning because this week the third ID lost 6 soldiers in Afghanistan. We plan...
Just a moment, Representative. It would seem to the chair that this is a moment that we could have order here in the House and not have conversation while the gentleman is paying tribute to these individuals. Gentleman may proceed.
It's still a very volatile and dangerous place in Afghanistan. At Fort Stewart, we plant a live oak for every soldier that we've lost to Afghanistan and Iraq. We're approaching 500 live oak trees. Now we're adding 6 more. General Robert Abrams announced the death of 5 in a helicopter crash and 1 in a hostile action where a soldier, not a soldier, but a policeman in Afghanistan killed several of our servicemen. And certainly our hearts grieve for those families for their loss. And if you don't mind, would you join me in a moment of silence in their memories for the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, fighting for our freedom. Amen.
Chair recognizes Representative Bruce Williamson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'd just like to let everyone know that I'm dropping a resolution today honoring Pastor Ron Bagalki for his fabulous work with the Capitol Commission. Many of you know Pastor Ron. He leads a Bible study on Tuesday mornings at 7:30 down on the basement floor of the Capitol building. He also has on Tuesdays a lunch from noon to 1 p.m., a great Bible study. Members are invited as well as anyone working in the Capitol. I'll have this resolution at my desk. Please come see me if you'd like to join in recognizing the great work that Pastor Ron does. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Chandler and Representative Kirby for a morning order.
Today is Pi Day worldwide, and I know that some of you have already enjoyed your moon pie. But this day is not about moon pies. It's in recognition of 3.14, which has been calculated over 1 trillion digits. And today we're honoring our students who are studying those math and science and engineering courses that use pi, as well as those careers in Georgia. And certainly along those same lines, we commend our teachers that are every day preparing our young people for the future.
Well, good morning. It is indeed an honor to be down here on Pi Day. As I used to tell my mother, calculus was my favorite class. That's why I took it 3 times. So, but we do have moon pies from some of our best and brightest. We've had a lot of athletic teams down here, but I'd like for you to join me in recognizing some of our best from Loganville Christian Academy. Our math and science students are in the gallery. If y'all will stand and allow us to recognize you up there in the corner. And for Chairman Yates, I apologize. I heard you saying you didn't get an RC Cola with your moon pie. I'll see what I can do about that for you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You may be interested in this from the standpoint of the new tidal ad valorem tax. As you know, it went into effect March the 1st. Some of you have approached me with questions about the implementation of it. You ought to all understand that you got emails from me both on casual sale responses to questions and on welcome to Georgia or people moving into Georgia responses. I want to give you one more piece of information. The department has a website called titletax.com. And if you go up on their website, many of the questions that your constituents may have would be answered there. It is not completely up to date. They'll probably have it completely up to date by the end of the week based upon the changes we made from House Bill 80. In the meantime, you can ask the information officer, Judd Seymour, at the Department of Revenue, who will take questions from your constituents. If you have an email, you can forward it to judd.seymour@dor.ga.gov. Hopefully that'll help you a little bit. If you have any of your constituents have any questions about that issue, I'll be available also. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Allison for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's truly another pleasure of mine to get to recognize the state-winning champion team from the mountains. Today we have the Towns County High School Lady Indians cross-country team, who are the state single-H state champions in the gallery. They are with us. I'm going to have them stand in a minute. I wanted to recognize their coach, Jeannie Ledford, as well as managers Krista Hamill and Lindsay Hollingshead. The team is made up of state champion Ansley Vardaman, who won the 2012 individual state championship in the 5K with a time of 21:34. Also with her on the team is Taylor Vardaman, Carly Allback, Alana Calhoun, Sierra Nichols, Rachel Barnard, Miranda Queen, Samantha Chieta, won the 2012 Georgia High School Association Cross Country Champions. If the ladies in the gallery would rise and be recognized by your house. Thank you very much, gals.
Chair recognizes Representative Bentley for a morning order. Representative Bentley.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I'm proud to stand here with Representative Robert Dickey as we recognize parents from Peach County, Georgia. They came all the way to their state capital from Peach County. Miss Tracy Owens, Liberty Sparkle, and Miss Falls. Will you all please stand and welcome our Peach County folks here to their state capital? And come on down to Peach County for the festival. The Peach Festival in June. Everybody's invited, and Robert's going to pay for all your peach pie.
Chair recognizes Representative Henson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, to my colleagues. I want to thank all of you yesterday for donating the diapers that we had all gotten from the March of Dimes. Today, folks from Grady Neonatal Intensive Unit are going to be coming down here. They're going to be here at 10:30 in the anteroom to receive the diapers. And I just want to thank every single one of you. I know for some of you, this was a very, very important thing To Representative Sheldon, I want to say thank you that they're coming down today to get the diapers. To Representative Dawkins Hagel, I know this was a very important issue to you also, since one of her daughters was also a preemie, and for others. So thank you again. They'll be down here, and I know that they're certainly very appreciative.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Drenner for a morning order.
Good morning, everyone. I know now when you speak loud that you can hear it way back there, so I'm going to tone it down just a second. I want to take a moment and welcome my students from my environmental science class from Herzing University. They got the opportunity to go to Natural Resource Committee meeting this morning. They watched a Rules Committee meeting, and now they get to see the action on the floor. Many of them have never been to the Capitol today, so welcome, you all. I hope you're taking good notes. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions next week, and just to tell you in advance. And I wanted just to say one more thing, Mr. Speaker. The person that ran that 5K in 21:34, I'm going to beat you. And when I go to sleep at night, not physically, I'm going to run against you. But welcome, guys, and I appreciate you all coming down today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader. You got two with you? The Rules Chairman and the Appropriations Chairman for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, everybody. On this day, 21 plus or minus a few years ago, all of North Georgia mountain people held their collective breaths in anticipation of the birth of a man that would be revered, respected, and absolutely earn the right to be known as Mr. Speaker. Y'all join me, please, in wishing a happy birthday today to the gentleman from the 6th District, Blue Ridge, Georgia. Happy birthday, Mr. Speaker, and many more. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Speaker. Happy birthday to you. I yield the will.
Thank you very, very much for that. I had I got to blow a candle out last night, and I made a wish. And then when I got here this morning, it didn't come true. I wished that when I got here this morning, people would have me confused with Representative Trey Kelly. And he's not here, so thank y'all very much. Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Amy Carter. Chairman Amy Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to point out to you that I have 3 special guests here today. They're out on the ropes right now or sitting on the benches waiting to come back in. But if you get the chance, if they get to deliver something to you today, please thank them for me. I have 3 of my students here who have been, it's their senior year, and they have been here every year for the last 4 years on my birthday to page for me. It's numbers 17, 18, and 19. They are Gage Eckwall, Garrett Hill, and David Wortham. But today is David's birthday. He's 18, and he's page number 18. He's the one in the seersucker. So if you see him, please wish him a happy birthday also. There they are. Hey, happy birthday, Garrett. They're my bow tie posse, so look for them.
Well, don't leave the well. While she's in the well, let's wish Chairman Carter a happy birthday. She's my birthday buddy. And while we're on the subject of birthdays, we're going to be out of session on Monday, but let's wish an early birthday to two of our chairs. Chairman Barbara Sims will have a birthday on Monday. And Chairman Ed Setzler will have a birthday on Monday. House will continue to be at order. House will continue to be at order. We're going to recognize some very distinguished guests with us today. The chair recognizes for an invite resolution Chairman Lynn Smith. Chairman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. This has become an annual special recognition of the foresters of the state of Georgia. We tend to know the work they do when we read about these terrible forest fires, but I think it's important that we pause each year to recognize those unsung heroes and the people who do the due diligence and work for our state. So as part of our recognition today, we're going to pause to honor the units that have been selected for special awards. For Bleckley-Pulaski County, we have Chief Ranger David Brown, Ranger 1's Joey Goss, Kerry Smith, and Sean Seals. From the Coweta-Fayette South Fulton Forestry Unit, we have Chief Ranger Terry Quigley, Ranger 1's Matthew Goddard, Jeremy Delk. And from the Oconee Forestry District, we have District Manager Troy Clymer. And also with me are Director of Field Operations, Devin Darnell, and State Forester Robert Ferris. Some are here with me here, and then some are up in our balcony. If we could just take this second to recognize them, they're right up there. Thank you very much. Will the clerk please read the caption to House Resolution 533.
House Resolution 533 by Representative Smith of the 70th, Representative Williams, 119th, and many others, a resolution recognizing and commending the Oconee District on being named the State Forestry Commission 2012 District of the Year, and inviting the members to appear before the House of Representatives and for other purposes.
Accepting for this district is Ranger Troy Clymer. If the clerk will please read House Resolution 468.
House Resolution 468 by Representative Smith of the 70th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending the Coweta-Fayette South Fulton County Forestry Unit on being named the State Forestry Commission 2012 Northern Union of the Year, inviting the members to appear before the House of Representatives and for other purposes.
Thank you. Accepting on their behalf is Chief Ranger Terry Quigley. The clerk will please read the caption to House Resolution 467.
House Resolution 467 by Representative Smith, the 70th, Representative Hardin, 148th, a resolution recognizing commending the Bleckley-Pulaski Forestry Unit on being named the Georgia Forestry Commission 2012 Southern Unit of the Year, and inviting members to appear before the House of Representatives.
Accepting on their behalf is Chief Ranger David Brown. Through the years, I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with our Chief Forester of the state, Robert Ferris, and he will say just a couple of brief comments to give us a little bit of insight into this wonderful dedicated work these rangers and support staff do for our state.
Thank you, Chairman Smith, and good morning, everybody. I'm Robert Ferris, your state forester, and the vision of the Georgia Forestry Commission is to ensure that Georgia maintains those healthy, sustainable forests that are providing us with clean air, clean water, and abundant forest products, not only for today, but for generations to come. And the men and women here today from the Bleckley unit, the Coweta unit, and the Oconee district consistently go above and beyond to ensure that that vision is indeed a reality. The work they do to protect our forests, protect our homes, protect your lives from the ravages of wildfires are felt and benefit every Georgia citizen. So I want to thank our GFC professionals, and I would like to thank the House here for ongoing support and recognition of the Georgia Forestry Commission. Thank you all.
There are so many representatives who represent one or more of these districts, so what we want to do is meet out in the ante room in between the flags, and then we'll get to each district as we can and give our members an opportunity to meet these rangers and to have a photo opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and happy birthday. Thank you.
Let's get a group up here.
Okay.
Chair recognizes for an invite resolution, Chairman Houston. Chairman Houston. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy birthday.
Thank you. There's your resolution.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor and privilege today to recognize the Nashville Women's Club on the 100th anniversary of continued service to our city. The actions of these ladies have left their mark on our town. There's no way I can name all the accomplishments that the ladies have achieved in the 100 years, but even though the times have changed, the goals of the National Women's Club haven't changed for 100 years. One of the first plans of the Nashville Women's Club was to beautify our town. And to do this 100 years ago, it was to get the cows off the courthouse square. Today, it is planting trees, and they've planted hundreds of dogwood trees around town, and we're now known as the City of Dogwoods. And on Arbor Day, you can always see women in Nashville planting trees. The next thing was education. 70 years ago, the Nashville Women's Club established the first kindergarten in our town. Today, they give scholarships to our graduates. Patriotism. In World War II, these women met weekly to roll bandages for our soldiers. Today, they ship boxes to soldiers overseas. And I would be remiss to say that the Nashville Women's Club founded the first public library in Nashville, and it is now known as the Carrie Perry Memorial Library. Today, I have with us a longtime member of the Women's Club who's now president, Miss Margie Tygart. She's been a member of the Women's Club for 65 years. Carol Chambers, Donna Fields, and my good friend Carolyn Powell. Thank you to all the ladies who've done so much for our town. Mr. Speaker, may we have the clerk read the resolution?
House Resolution 453 by Representative Houston, 170th. A resolution congratulating the Nashville Women's Club on their wonderful 100th anniversary, inviting the members to appear before the House of Representatives at a date and time to be designated by the Speaker of the House.
Ms. Taggart is going to accept the resolution, and thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you. And would you like to say a few words, Ms. Margie?
Yes, I would. Well, in 14 more years, I'll be 100, and I'm working on it. And I usually had conservation, and in 1 year I have sold as many as 3,500 dogwood trees. We would sell them 3 for $1, not to make profit, but to get them out into our county. And the Forestry Department gives us trees every year to plant on Arbor Day. And I bet you didn't know this, that you can order trees from Berrien County, and they will deliver them to Tallulah Falls School. So you can pay for them in your county, and if you want to send them to a school somewhere, that's Tallulah Falls is the Women's Club School. And I have certainly enjoyed, life has been good to me, so I plan on the Women's Club still celebrating. We have our own clubhouse, and we've used it as a community center these years. So we've had, and it was built in 1928, and so far we've rented it some, so we can pay our light bill.
Thank you. Thank you. I want you to know, Miss Margie, this is Speaker Rawson, Miss Margie Taggart.
You honor us by being here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And this is my campaign manager, Carolyn Powell. Nice to meet you, Speaker Rawson, and happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
And she's also Chambers and Donna Fields. Thank you. Let's get our picture.
This House will be in order, please. If you've got business that you need to attend to, please take it outside the chamber. We are honoring distinguished Georgians and very special guests. House will be in order. Chair recognizes Representative Ramsey for an invite resolution. Representative Ramsey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am so proud today to have the opportunity to honor the 2012 McIntosh High School state champions in soccer, two-time defending state champions in soccer. Now, last week, Representative Flood and the rest of the Fayette County delegation, we were up here and he read, we were honoring the Sandy Creek High School football team, and he read off a very impressive pedigree. These girls matched them championship for championship. Representative Mabry, we win championships down in Fayette County, don't we? We do. So if the clerk will please read a resolution.
House Resolution 148, Representative Ramsey is 72nd, Representative Flood is 64th, Representative Mabry is 63rd. A resolution recognizing and congratulating the McIntosh High School Lady Chiefs soccer team of Fayette County for winning the Class 5A state championship, inviting the coaches and team to be recognized by this House of Representatives at a date and upon a time to be designated by the Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Joining us in the gallery is the bulk of the team. If you'll please rise, and if my colleagues would join me in welcoming them and congratulating them on this honor. Joining me up here are 5 seniors who will be going for their 3rd state championship this season. I've got Hannah Hartman, Caitlin Dietrich, Erica Barnhill, and Corrine Wooten up here. Standing next to me is team captain, Mr. Speaker, of interest to you. She'll be suiting up for the Georgia Bulldogs next year on the soccer field. I'd like to ask her just to say a quick word of thanks.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Great job. Here, let's.
All right, very good.
Yes, sir. The one that Edward signed, the one that Mike Jacobs was over earlier. Scott Hogan, Williams, Yes, sir.
All right, we're going on to the rules calendar. Going on to the rules calendar. The clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 81. Senate Bill 81.
Senate Bill 81 by Senator Wilkinson, the 50th. A bill to be entitled Admin Code Section 12-6-152 relating to prohibited acts regarding harvesting ginseng to a shortened legal season for harvesting ginseng. Bill having been for the House Committee, Agriculture and Consumer Affairs. The committee recommends the bill do pass. The bill is being read today for its 3rd time.
So this is what they've been doing over there. I've been waiting. I've just been waiting to see what they've been doing. Wanted to call this bill first and kind of get an indication. Chair recognizes Representative Jaspers to present and explain the bill.
They have been busy in the Senate, and we'll start off. And thank you, Mr. Speaker and representatives. And for me, really, it's a relief to bring a bill before you today that's 1 page long and changes 2 words. And that's what Senate Bill 81 does. It changes the date of ginseng harvest from August 15th to September 1st, August 15th to September 1st, and that's it. But I'm sure you have lots more questions and interest about ginseng, or sang, as it's called in our mountains. That's one thing interesting about our legislature. We do get to learn about a lot of different subjects. But it's a unique mountain herb that grows in North Georgia, from Georgia all the way to Maine. It's an understory plant, grows in the woodlands. It's harvested by all sorts of people in the fall. And the serious part is that it is harvested by a lot of people. And they take this sang, as we call it, they collect it on private land, public land, and even on national park land with a permit, and sell it to small buyers who then take the ginseng to brokers who consolidate it, and then, believe it or not, it is sold to China. And that's one of the unique things about it. I was told this morning by one of my fellow representatives that ginseng was the first agricultural product that was exported to China a long time ago, which I thought was very neat. Now, throughout the Appalachian Mountain chain, just in Georgia, it's millions of dollars worth of ginseng that's sold. 1 pound of ginseng is worth $350. And so there's about $1 million worth sold in Georgia a year. People trespass, they steal it, they hide it, they put fences around it, put dogs around it during harvest time, because it takes about 10 years to get a plant that has some value. And it's rare. I have a little bit on my mountain farm. So the key part is it is harvested and selling is overseen by the DNR, specifically because of the export part of it. And it's there to prevent the destruction of the species, as has happened in China and Korea. The date change is necessary due to research that's been done to see the needs to harden the seed off a little bit longer before it is replanted and then harvested, hence the change in the date. One important thing to note is you can dig it. You can use all you want. You can soak it in bourbon, as many people do. You can do whatever you want to it on your private property. But when you take it and sell it, that's when it becomes an issue, and the DNR oversees it, and then over them, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And this bill protects the growers, because now they're able to sell it. And without this, they could sell it to themselves. I could sell it in my neighborhood, but I couldn't sell it to China, where they're willing to pay big money for it. But ginseng's an unusual herb worth protecting. Some say it's like a mixture of coffee, Viagra, and Prozac mixed together. See, that's why it's worth $350 a pound. And it's all rolled into this one herb. And then people take it for everything, from depression, blood pressure, to impotence. So, Mr. Speaker, that's probably more than anybody ever wanted to know about ginseng. And I'll be glad to answer your questions. If not, I'll yield the well. Thank you.
I thought you were almost there for a minute. We had Senator Rand Paul in the well. Did you leave out the part about what this does to the balance of trade, all this exporting to China? Didn't you have several minutes you wanted to talk about that?
No, sir. I believe I've said enough.
All right, you got a few questions.
Boy.
I hope you'll yield.
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to yield.
Chair recognizes Representative Al Williams to your left for a question.
The gentleman in the well. Is
Yes,
it not
sir.
so that you did not mention to the Rules Committee the part about Viagra and Prozac?
Unfortunately, our Senator Wilkinson, presented to the Rules Committee, but I'm sure he knows about it.
Will you further yield?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure he does. The little bit you raise, do you raise it for personal reasons or do you sell yours?
Well,
you might want to talk to a lawyer before you answer that one.
Representative, I'm looking down the road 10 years.
All right, we got a few more here. Let's see.
We got to have some fun.
Let me recognize the chairman of the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee for what I'm sure will be an intelligent question on this subject.
That's lucky.
I do actually have a serious question, at least one. Is it not true that this does nothing to affect the dates or anything that a commercial grower can harvest or do what he wants to with?
Did you say, does it affect the dates of commercial harvester?
No, a commercial producer.
That he can harvest?
A guy that's farming ginseng.
He does need to stay after September 1st so that he does
right.
replant.
One further question. Is it not true that I thought you were going to stay in a well till you needed it 10 years from now to explain a two-word bill, but the truth is that the Asians actually rather have wild ginseng, is it not true, than commercially grown ginseng?
Yes, sir, that is true. That makes ours so much more valuable than Wisconsin ginseng.
One final question. Is it not true that the reason DNR regulates it is it because it is grown wild only in the mountains of North Georgia and North Carolina and on up through the Blue Ridge?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
It is. Mr. Speaker, I'll be glad to yield the well if there are no further questions.
Well, no, you've got a few more. It's up to you, though. This has
more.
generated a lot of interest here, as it should.
Yes.
One
more.
You yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes the chairman of the State Properties Committee, Chairman Neal, to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that as you began your presentation talking about how short and simple this bill was, that most of us thought that we might see a very quick presentation with no questions and vote quickly? Isn't that true?
Oh, I thought we would have a little fun with this. We have needed some fun.
Isn't it true that as I sat and listened to your incredible explanation of this bill, that you closed with a statement that I probably agree with more than any other, is that today we probably learn more about this than most of us care to know?
That may very well be true, but Chairman Neal, I have a door prize that I thought I would give somebody, and I think I would like to present it to you when we're through, of a sample of ginseng, and you could report back to us what you find out additionally.
Hey, I'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of Senate Bill 81 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 81. The ayes are 133, the nays are 28. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Well, let's see if it gets any better. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 193. Senate Bill 193.
Senate Bill 193 by Senator Calcert, 46, bill being entitled Act amending Title 19 relating to the enforcement of duty of support so as to update the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act. Bill having been for the House Committee on Juvenile Justice. The committee recommends the bill passed by committee substitute. Bill is being read today for its third time.
Chair understands that the next bill derived its origin from the Hague Convention. So I'm going to recognize Representative Quick to see if this is part of a one world government plot here. Representative Quick.
I appreciate that so much, Mr. Speaker. I am, ladies and gentlemen, honored to bring this bill on behalf of Senator Calcert in the Senate, my senator, Senate Bill 193. It is a 37-page or so bill, so they did do a little work, but I will tell you that the Juvenile Justice Committee did all the heavy lifting on this under Chairman Weldon and Subcommittee Chairman Welch. So I think it's been well vetted over here. This is one of the uniform acts drafted by the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws. And as we heard earlier in the session, the Majority Whip is one of our two members to that commission. This legislation would update the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, and that is an act which provides a substantive and procedural framework for the establishment, modification, and subsequent enforcement of family support orders amongst the states. Our act has not been updated since 1996, so our children who need support and dependent spouses are operating under an outdated framework, which does not help at all in the international context. And so this version would not only apply when parties to a support action live in different states. Senate Bill 193 also extends that framework to different countries. But in a twist, the Hague Convention actually used the UIFSA as a framework when it was modeled and adopted, and not vice versa. This is not an international framework coming to the United States. It is a United States framework going to the world as it's enacted around the world. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, I'll answer any questions that anyone might have, but ask for favorable consideration of Senate Bill 193.
There's no Agenda 21 hidden in this, is there?
That is why I wanted to make sure it was vice versa. This is not international coming to the United States. The world is accepting our UIFSA framework.
I just needed to make sure.
Yes, sir.
You have a question if you care to yield.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Martin to your right for a question.
The lady yield.
Yes, I will.
I do have a serious question. On lines 1229 through 1233 of the bill, specifically 1230 and 31, it says applying and construing this article, consideration must be given to promote uniformity. In no case would that allow somebody else's change to a statute to come into Georgia and affect the bill we're passing today. I mean, I just want to make sure that there's not, it is not true. I want to make sure there's not a gray area that if a law changed in another country, another state, that in order to promote uniformity, Georgia would be bound by it unless we passed it in this body in the Senate.
This provision is really goes to the construction of this particular piece of the act, which again applies when people live in different places, is to try to create predictable outcomes across jurisdictions that have enacted this same provision. So it's not going to allow, for example, another country to not comport to due process and then us have to enforce that. The bill takes care of that. If another country does not do things the way we do in terms of due process, then our courts are not bound to enforce those provisions.
You have another question if you care to yield.
Yes, sir, I will.
Chair recognizes Representative Coomer to your right for a question.
Thank you. Does the lady yield?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to follow up on that last point you made about due process. Can you direct us to the portion of the bill that actually has that safeguard included?
Well, Representative, I'm not sure I can pull it out of this 37 pages, but I will try.
Well, and I'm fine for you to show it to me after you step out of the way.
I can show you that because we dealt with that in the Senate hearing on this and specifically identified that for the senators. And then I just didn't mark it when I came up here this morning, but I can show you that when I return to our row back there. It is in the bill. Absolutely.
You have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of Senate Bill 193 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 193. The ayes are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Let's take a little detour from this and see if it gets better when we come back. Chair recognizes the majority leader for a resolution. You might want to listen up to this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring before you today House Resolution 738. It is an adjournment resolution that is very ambitious from the standpoint that it tries to get us through completion of this session. I can't remember since I've been here that we've ever been able to resolve our schedule in 3 or less resolutions. So this, as far as I know, this is a record for while I've been here. The only contingency that I'm aware of right now that may cause a change in this is that we're relying on the Senate to have debated on the floor the 2014 budget by honor before next Friday. That's the tacit agreement between the two bodies. If that happens, I don't suspect we'll be coming before you asking for a change. This may be our final plan out to sine die. We will return next Wednesday, March the 20th. We were already resolved to do that. We'll return, I'll say this again later, at 10 o'clock. I hope we'll have a lot of committees already here working. We will then be in the next day, Thursday, March 21st, and Friday, March 22nd, which will, when we finish the 22nd, we will have finished legislative day 37. We'll be in adjournment on the weekend. We'll return Monday, March 25th for day 38. Tuesday, March 26th for day 39. We will be in adjournment, our typical adjournment day between day 39 and day 40. And we'll return Thursday, March 28th for day 40. And hopefully you will hear the two wonderful words, sine die, that day. Mr. Speaker, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I would ask this House to give its favorable support to this very ambitious resolution. And let's let everybody get home, plan their businesses, their families, and their lives around a more predictable schedule. That's our goal, at least.
Mr. Leader, how long has it been since we've had back-to-back years that we've gone home when the calendar still said March?
I don't remember it in my time here, frankly, at all. And this year it was especially amazing because, as you'll recall, Mr. Speaker, we started the absolute latest day constitutionally we could start. We had already essentially been through half of January almost before we started. So it's pretty amazing, and it's a tribute to the good, efficient work of this House and this body that we've gotten the people's business done in a very efficient, orderly manner, and we're going to get out of town and get out of their way and let Georgia get back to work. So again, if there are no questions, I'd ask for your favorable support and yield the well.
Clerk will read the caption to the resolution.
House Resolution 738, Representative O'Neill, 146. A resolution relative to adjournment for other purposes.
All those in favor of going home in March will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the adoption of House Resolution 738. The ayes are 162. The nays are 1. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted, and the chair orders that the resolution be immediately transmitted to the State Senate. Chair recognizes Chairman Barbara Sims to introduce the Doctor of the Day. Chairman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honor for me today to present to you our Doctor of the Day, Dr. Ramon Parrish, a native Georgian who earned his medical degree from Emory University, and his postdoctorate training earned him an internship in gynecology and obstetrics at Emory. He completed his residency in family medicine at Eglin Air Force Base in Eglin, Florida. Dr. Parrish is board certified by the American Board of Family Medicine, and he has a certificate of added qualification in geriatric, yay, medicine. Dr. Parrish is the Associate Professor of Family Medicine at the Medical College of Georgia. Dr. Parrish and his wife, Lisa, have 4 children, 4 sons, and I believe he knows our speaker. Thank you, Dr. Parrish.
You want to say something?
You want to say anything? Sure. I'll say anything. You get 10 seconds.
Okay. It's good to be here today. Thank you for your service. It's always good to see the speaker again, who would come sneaking into my office at 4:45 Friday afternoon, say, I've got to go back to Atlanta, and can you make me well? As an 8th generation Georgian, I have a lot of good things to say about this state, but to make a long story short, it's been a privilege to be here. Thank you again. Good to see you. Good to see you.
We overlooked a morning order earlier. Chair recognizes Representative Dickey for a morning order. Representative Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to recognize some students from my home county, Crawford County, up in the gallery. They've come up here, and thank you very much. They stand up. Oh, they're right over here. There they are. I couldn't see them behind me.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 532. House Resolution 532.
House Resolution 532 by Representative Powell, 32nd. A resolution requesting the United States Army Corps of Engineers utilize adaptive management techniques to control lake levels and river flows within the Savannah River Basin. The resolution has been before the House Committee, Natural Resources and Environment. The committee recommends the resolution do pass. Resolution is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Alan Powell to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you House Resolution 532. You know, as most resolutions, they don't do a whole lot. They're just asking and putting folks on notice. 532, we're requesting that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers utilize adaptive management techniques to control the lake levels and river flows up and down the Savannah River Basin. Let me give you a little bit of a history on this. The Savannah River, it starts in the headwaters in Hart County, northern Hart County, and goes all the way down to the ports of Savannah. Over the last, during a period of 3 decades, from the early 50s through the early 80s, there was 3 impoundments in lakes that were built. That's Lake Hartwell on the top end, Lake Russell in the center, and then Clark's Hill that butts up next to Augusta. From there down to the ports of Savannah is basically what's left of the Savannah River. The Corps of Engineers, and you know, I'm not one that bashes the Corps of Engineers because, quite frankly, they have done an awful good job of maintaining the natural resources of those lakes. But one of the things that we have had concerns about up in the northern part of the Savannah River Basin has been that the Corps of Engineers, over the last 20 years, as a period of droughts came forth, that the lakes have been taking on a pretty wide fluctuation. Lake Hartwell, for instance, in January of this year, Lake Hartwell was 16 feet down. Today, thank God, we're only 6 feet down, and this flows downstream. So we're asking the Corps to look at these adaptive techniques. So much, and the interest has been so much, that we have citizen groups, stakeholders involved. When these lakes were built up and down the Savannah River, generally the mission of their statements was that they were established for flood control and for hydro generation. There was nothing ever put into them about economic development or tourism. Well, over the last 50 years now, or 60 years that these lakes have been there, developments have sprung forth, recreation and tourism, which is a major part of economic development in North Georgia, is such a very vital part. The Lake Hartwell Association, which is a large stakeholder group of lake owners on Lake Hartwell, that's now moved down into even picking up members in the other lakes, have been putting forth ideas that the Corps of Engineers, we need them to look at some other ideas about management. So I'm very careful not to condemn the Corps of Engineers, even though they are a bureaucracy within the federal bureaucracy. But this basically what we're asking them is to look at these adaptive management practices, establish what we call a more realistic drought management plan, to look at economic development, to look at tourism, because that brings in untold millions of dollars of revenue for the state of Georgia. So I would ask for your consideration. We thought as much about this back 14, 15 years ago when Representative McCall and I were fighting water issues on the Savannah River Basin. This is something that has developed even further, even to the point that we have established all the 30 some odd members of the General Assembly up and down the Savannah River have established a Savannah River Water Basin Caucus, something that we are so vitally interested in, and it's the future of that area. And I would ask for your consideration on this resolution. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Gentleman has yielded the well. We had 2 members that wanted to be heard on this resolution. Chair recognizes Chairman McCall, the chair of the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee, to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Real quick to follow up on what Alan just said. What we are trying to do is get the Corps to look at utilization other than flood control on the lakes. And let me give you, at the risk of giving you numbers, but I'm going to give you some numbers that may be interesting or may not. The low flow that goes through the dam at Augusta, at the lowest time that it can go through, there's 1.5 million gallons of water every minute that flows through that dam. That's something that the Corps can control. What they cannot control is on the 3 big lakes that Alan mentioned. There's 1,100 cubic feet per second evaporates off of those lakes in July and August, September, and the hot days. And what that amounts to is 500,000 gallons a minute that evaporates off of those lakes. That's something we can't control. So what this resolution does is urge the Corps to control what they can control, so we don't lose all the money that we're losing due to lack of recreation, fishing, and economic development around the lakes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Chair recognizes Representative Fleming to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. I wanted to rise to thank Chairman Powell for bringing this resolution, and also Chairman McCall for all the hard work they've done through the years. Most people don't recognize it, but the lake that touches my district, Clark Hill Lake, is the largest man-made lake east of the Mississippi River. And when the Corps changes their policy on releasing water downstream, they really affect hundreds of business owners and citizens who own property around that lake, because when the water levels get so low, it really harms the economics of our area. There's nothing you can do about drought, but as the previous speakers mentioned, there is something you can do about the flow of the river when we have heavy rains like we have this fall. The downstream flow keeps the river high, and if the Corps would simply change their policy like one previous colonel of the Corps of Engineers adapted, that would be to close the spill gates, let the downstream flow take care of itself, and withhold some of that heavy rains that we have. When the summertime comes, we'd have a higher lake level, and everybody would benefit more. Thanks again to the 2 chairmen for bringing this, and I look forward to working with them to try to get the Corps to understand the significant impact this has. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of the resolution. The ayes are 160, the nays are 1. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 218. House Resolution 218.
House Resolution 218 by Representative Sims, the 123rd, a resolution requesting that all local school superintendents recognize that learning the United States Constitution is a vital facet of primary education. The resolution has been for the House Committee on Education. Committee recommends the resolution do pass, but the resolution is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims to present the resolution. Chairman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In May of 1787, a group of men, I want to read this to you, the work of many minds. Our Constitution stands as one of cooperative statesmanship and the art of compromise. It's in this posture that I bring this resolution to you. I simply want to encourage what is already in our curriculum. I want to encourage the superintendents, the principals, and the teachers to provide teaching of the Constitution to our students. It is a simple resolution, but it is an important learning tool. I'll stand for questions, but if there are none, I will yield the well and ask for you to vote.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on House Resolution 218? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of House Resolution 218 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the adoption of House Resolution 218, the ayes are 160, the nays are 1. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 66. Senate Bill 66.
Senate Bill 66 by Senator Stone, 23rd. Bill to be entitled Act entitled 15 relating to courts, so increased penalties that can be imposed for contempt of superior state courts. Bill has been for the House Committee on Judiciary. Committee recommends bill pass by committee substitute. Bill is being read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Jacobs to present the bill. Chairman Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring before you today Senate Bill 66. This bill does two things. It increases the amount at which, the dollar amount at which contempt can be punished by a fine in Superior Court. That amount is right now a paltry $500. We have not increased that amount in more than 30 years. And this bill would increase that amount to a more substantial $1,000. Sections 3 and 4 of the bill, in magistrate court, anybody who files a complaint is required to have it verified, sign it under oath. And we have some magistrate courts in this state that are requiring anybody who files an answer or a counterclaim in magistrate court also to have it verified under oath. There is nothing in the code that requires that to be done. We just have some magistrate courts that require it. And what we're saying here in sections 3 and 4 is that verification of an answer or a counterclaim will not be required because at that point, someone who is filing an answer or an answer and a counterclaim is going to have their day in court and make their side of the case in front of a judge. So that, ladies and gentlemen of the House, is Senate Bill 66. I will yield for any questions. Ms. Speaker?
You have a few questions.
I'll yield.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Lindsay, to your right for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Is it not true that for those in this General Assembly that after 34 days are getting tired of lawyers, this is their opportunity to whack a lawyer around?
Indeed it is, Mr. Whip.
Therefore, everyone should vote for this bill.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree. This is your chance to take a shot at the lawyers. In a good-natured way.
You have other questions if you yield.
I will yield for one more, Mr.
Chair recognizes Chairman Earhart to your right for a question.
Gentleman yield.
I will.
Notwithstanding how much fun it may be, isn't it true to whack around lawyers? You mentioned that we haven't raised it in 30 years, but isn't it also true that for a contempt citation for either a lawyer in a courtroom or a citizen, you can take away their freedom for 20 days and put them in jail for 20 days just because the individual might have had a bad day?
Well, I don't want to speak to the reason that a judge would do that because obviously it's in the court's discretion. But yes, the judges also have available to them imprisonment for up to 20 days, and that's a provision that's not being amended by this bill.
Okay, so isn't it true that we could whack judges a little bit if we don't raise this? Those of us who are not attorneys, is it not true?
If the gentleman so states. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I ask for the House's favorable consideration of Senate Bill 66, and I will yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of Senate Bill 66 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of Senate Bill 66. The ayes are 116. The nays are 49. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 410. House Resolution 410.
House Resolution 410 by Representative Glanton, the 75th. A resolution requesting that the International Olympic Committee keep wrestling in the Olympic Games after the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The resolution has been for the House Committee on Governmental Affairs. The committee recommends the resolution do pass. The resolution is being read today for the third time.
Not yet. Oh, this is about wrestling. I'm going to let you go to the well whenever you want to. Chair recognizes Representative Glanton to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring to you House Resolution 410. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the over 40 co-signers on this resolution. Simply stated, this is an urgent resolution asking the International Olympic Committee to reconsider its decision to ban wrestling from the Olympic Games after 2016. Passing this resolution will allow us to join other states around the United States with this request. Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I ask for your favorable consideration, and I yield the well.
You have a question if you care to yield.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Spencer to your right for a question.
Does my roommate yield?
Yes, I will.
Can you tell me the difference between wrestling and wrestling?
Representative Spencer, I cannot tell you the difference, but I can tell you that they both get you tangled up. Okay? Is that it, Mr. Speaker?
You have another question if you care to yield.
I do.
Chair recognizes Representative Kidd to your left for a question.
Chairman Yield.
I do.
To follow up on the last gentleman's question, isn't it the size of the uniform that makes the difference between wrestling and wrestling?
I believe it is. The gentleman is correct of that which he speaks.
You have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of the resolution. The ayes are 135, the nays are 15. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 61. Senate Bill 61.
Senate Bill 61 by Senator Stone, 23rd. A bill being entitled Act to amend Title 10 relating to self-storage facilities so as to change the title, provide for definitions, change due date for monthly rental payments, provide procedures for sending notice to default, provide for print or electronic publication notices of public sale of property. Bill having been for the House Committee on Judiciary, the committee recommends this bill pass by way of a committee substitute, and the bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Lindsay, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First off, let me go back a few bills. Since Representative Jaspers abandoned the well so prematurely, I wasn't able to recite to him my grandmother's favorite poem. As you are now, so once was I, as I am now, soon you will be. Let me sort of go through this bill very quickly. I do recognize that I am standing between you and many of folks travel home. Senate Bill 61 is the Georgia Self-Service Storage Facility Act. It basically brings us into uniformity with many other states regarding this very important industry. Keep in mind that over 90% of the self-storage facilities are small businesses. There are 1,500 self-storage facilities in Georgia, employing over 4,800 workers. Basically what this bill does, first off, is it changes the authorized communication between the facility owners and the occupants. It allows, for instance, the communication to be done by email. That's entirely voluntary and up to the occupant as to whether or not it's to be allowed, but it does make for easier communications. Number two, it changes the aspects for the disposal of property to satisfy the lien for failure to make payments. Basically what that does is it clarifies how auctions are held when a lien is having to be enforced. If any of you have seen Storage Wars, you'll get a good idea of how this process works. Number 3, it changes the publishing requirements for intent to sell goods to satisfy liens. Underneath the present law, a owner has to publish each of the particular lien foreclosures separately. That's very expensive. Underneath this law, they can do it in one ad. That saves cost. Number 4, it shortens the time for the occupants when they can be locked out if they have not made payment. Basically, underneath present law, that's 10 days. It's reduced down to 7 days. That in no way changes the time period for enforcement of the lien. That simply allows the owner to come in and lock the facility, which will require that the occupant come back in and negotiate a resolution with the owner, rather than simply allowing the occupant to loot the storage facility after not making a timely payment. There are 3 amendments to the bill, all of which are very good amendments, and I do ask for your favorable consideration of all of them. The first one is one from Representative Williams regarding dealing with folks who are out of state, in particular folks who are service members, taking care of them, to allow them to have an agent to be the person to receive any kind of notice as designated by the occupant. I ask for your favorable consideration of that, and I would like for Representative Williams to please tell the folks in Liberty County that this will be the second time in 2 days that I've voted to assist them in their communities. The second proposed amendment is one from Representative Holcomb, who, as many of you know, has served our country very well, and in terms of also going out of overseas to serve our country during wartime. He wants to simply make sure that owners of these properties remain in full compliance with the Service Member Civil Relief Act, which requires added duties on the owner of these facilities when they're dealing with service members, and I ask for your favorable consideration of that. Representative Jacobs has a third amendment that basically corrects a little bit of overzealousness in the House Judiciary Committee towards fine-tuning. What this simply will allow is for the mail to be done not only by certified mail, which can be quite expensive, but other methods that are out there as well that can still ensure that the mail was received, but doesn't have to necessarily be by certified mail. That's basically the bill. Mr. Speaker, I know the hour is late and folks wish to get on the road, but I'll be happy to answer anyone's questions regarding this bill.
You have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Martin to your right for a question.
Yes.
Mr. Whip, I know you have a serious measure here, but I want
Sure.
to ask you, does this have anything to do with you interviewing on the show Storage Wars to try to replace the gentleman, Mr. Hester? Yep.
You can't replace Mr. Hester, and I thank you for citing to that show. It is one of my favorite shows on the air.
Do you yield for further questions?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Williams to your right for a question. Coach Williams.
Yes, sir.
My button is on. Oh, here we go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Of course.
I was trying to find some information about insurance. I'm concerned that some of the storage units, they don't carry the insurance themselves, but they have other companies that do that for them. But my question is, do they get the information from these insurance companies as to when the insurance expires of a tenant?
This bill doesn't deal with that insurance issue at all.
It don't deal with that at all?
No, sir. Be happy to sort of talk to you about that, maybe another bill for another day, but this bill does not deal with that issue.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, if there are no further questions,
There are, but it's up to you to yield.
I think that the House has a pretty good understanding of this bill. I'll therefore yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. What purpose does Representative Chokas rise?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Rule 133, I would like to be excused from this vote.
You know, we've renamed that rule.
Yes, sir.
It's now the Chokas rule. The gentleman has that right, and the journal will so reflect. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. There are amendments. The first amendment is offered by Representative Holcomb. The Holcomb amendment. The clerk will read the Holcomb amendment.
Representative Holcomb, 81st, Representative Williams, 168th, Representative Lindsay, the 54th, move to amend Senate Bill 61 as follows. And this amendment is on an amendment form. It's printed and placed on your desk an hour before debate as follows. On line 217, insert, if the rental agreement is with a service member, the owner shall comply with all terms of the Service Members Civil Relief Act, 50 U.S.C., Sections 501 et sec.
Is there objection to the adoption of the Holcomb amendment? The chair hears none, and that amendment is adopted. The next amendment is the Williams amendment. The Williams amendment. Clerk will read.
Representative Williams, 168th, Representative Lindsay, 54th, move to amend Senate Bill 61 as follows. And again, the amendment's printed and placed on your desk an hour prior to debate. Insert at line 118 the following, and I further understand that I may designate to owner and agent to receive such notice by providing hand delivery, verified mail, email. Insert at line 153 after address the following, or to the last known address of the designated agent of the occupant.
Is there objection to the Williams amendment? The chair hears none. The Williams amendment is adopted. The third amendment is offered by Chairman Jacobs. The Jacobs amendment. The clerk will read.
Representative Jacobs, the 80th, moves to amend Senate Bill 61 as follows. Again, the amendment's printed on amendment form and placed on your desk. On line 47, delete the word or and replace it with registered mail. On lines 47, 48, delete the words return receipt requested and replace them with or other method of mailing or delivery in which the post office or delivery service furnishes proof that the parcel was sent.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the Jacobs amendment? The chair hears none, and that amendment is adopted. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute as amended? The chair hears none. The committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of Senate Bill 61 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 61. The ayes are 159, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Before we break for the day, we're going to take up some motions to agree. We have 3 or 4 members that have those. If Chair recognizes the Chairman of the Transportation Committee for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I make a motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 202.
The gentleman has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 202. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 202 in your agree, disagree folders on your desk. The Senate version of House Bill 202. The Senate offers the following substitute. House Bill 202 is printed in your folders, upper right-hand corner, LC 390434S, 390434S, together with the House passed version of House Bill 202 in your folders.
Chair recognizes Chairman Roberts to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the bill we passed earlier this year that was the GDOT cleanup bill. When it got over to the Senate, I guess those strict constitutionalists over there, as they like to claim that they are, decided that Section 3 was unconstitutional as being in there, so they removed it. Most of you know we have actually voted on Section 3 over here. It's a bill in and of itself now, and it's traveled over to the Senate. We're glad to take any other questions, Mr. Speaker. If not, I ask that you agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 202.
You have no questions. Gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 202, all those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 202, the ayes are 160, the nays are 1. This motion has been adopted and the House has agreed. Chair recognizes Representative Elps for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House adopt the Senate substitute to House Bill 101.
Representative Elps has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 101. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 101, the Senate substitute, House Bill 101, Senate version of this bill is printed in your agree-disagree folders. Upper right-hand corner, LC 400325S, together with the House passed version of the bill.
Chair recognizes Representative Elps to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A couple of changes in Section 1. We had on line 30, strike fairs and festival and add the word event. Line 40, there's an ad there in subsection B. State that is held on the property of such sponsor or on the property of a party that has provided written consent for use of such property. And then in Section 2, on line 55, to say for any permit issued pursuant to this code section to be valid, this event must be held on the property belonging to the sponsors or on the property of a party that has provided written consent for such event to be held. Then finally, in Section 3, there's a revision that says parties whose property is used for the operation of a nonprofit sales or service or food event without such party's written authorization may seek legal remedy against unauthorized users. We urge you to agree to the Senate version. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 101, all those in favor of the motion will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 101, the ayes are 162, the nays are 1. This House has agreed. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Insurance Committee, Chairman Smith, for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I make a motion this House agree to Senate substitute to House Bill 198.
Chairman Smith has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 198. The clerk will read the caption.
The Senate substitute to House Bill 198, LC upper right-hand corner, LC 371596S. LC 371596S. Senate substitute to House Bill 198.
Chair recognizes Chairman Smith to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is just a small tweak to this bill. As you know, House Bill 198 puts several requirements on navigators who will assist our constituents once they have to get on the health exchanges. This tweak says that they will also have to have a basic knowledge in Medicaid and Peach Care. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You had no questions. The gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 198, all those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 198, the ayes are 136, the nays are 24. This House has agreed. Chair recognizes Representative Williamson for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm here today to move that the House agree with the Senate substitute to House Bill 254 under Senate substitute bill number LC 371577S.
The gentleman has moved, Representative Williamson has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 254. The clerk will read the captions.
House Bill 254, Senate substitute to this House Bill 254. Upper right is in your agree, disagree folders on your desk. Upper right-hand corner, LC 371577S, Senate substitute, House Bill 254, together with the House-passed version of the bill located in your folders.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There was one simple change made by the Senate, and that is on lines 102 and 115 of the bill, and it simply excludes law enforcement from accessing other contents on the mobile electronic device when you're presenting your insurance information card. Be happy to answer any questions, or I'll be happy to yield the will.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 254, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 254, the ayes are 160, the nays are 1. This House has agreed. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. The clerk will read.
The following resolutions are privileged resolutions being read today for adoption by this House. The resolution by Representative Morgan, 39, recognizing Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, Kappa Omega chapter during the month of March and for other purposes. Resolution by Representative Representative Marin, the 96, recognizing commending Hispanic National Bar Association. Resolution by Representative Dempsey, 13th, recognizing commending Amy Ho. Resolution by Representative Williams, 168, recognizing commending Leslie Jordan. Resolution by Representative Wilkinson, the 52nd, congratulating Ira Spradlin on his retirement. Resolution by Representative Lindsay, the 54th, commending the March of Dimes, recognizing March 13th, March of Dimes Day at the Capitol. Resolution by Representative Holcomb, 81st, congratulating Father James Schillinger, being named a Monsignor by Pope Benedict XVI. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, recognizing commending Wilkinson High School boys basketball team 2013 Class A State Championship. Resolution by Representative Flood, 64th, recognizing commending the United Automobile Aerospace Agriculture Implement Workers of America Region 8 for its outstanding contributions. Resolution by Representative Hamilton, 24th, recognizing commending Change for Georgia, Remington Youngblood. A resolution by Representative Rogers, 29, on the life and memory of Michael Andrew Drew Wilson II. Resolution by Representative Rogers, 29, on the life and memory of Thomas Durward Pennington Jr. And a resolution by Representative Powell, 32nd, honoring the life and memory of Mr. George R. Rooks Jr. through the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none and the resolutions are adopted. If you have not signed up for an announcement and have one, you need to do that immediately. We will be doing page photographs at the rostrum immediately upon adjournment. Chair recognizes Representative Chokas for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before we adjourn today, I want to recognize Judd Peacock and his 8th grade Marion County High School Social Studies class on both sides of the gallery for their annual trip to their state capital. Welcome.
Chair recognizes Chairman Knight for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to bring to the attention of the Sportsman's Caucus members, you should see on your desk a flyer, and we're going to have our annual event
this Wednesday. When we come back next week on Wednesday, it'll be Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m., our annual skeet shoot. If you will, please let us know if you're going to come or not so we can make arrangements for food and all that. So, and you'll see a number on that sheet to RSVP to. So again, next Wednesday, the annual Sportsman's Caucus skeet shoot. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Coleman for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Education Committee, our 2 o'clock meeting today has been canceled. It will be scheduled next week. All right.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, you might want to listen up. Now, if you do not have your ads run and you want a bill next week, you better have them run tomorrow. Tomorrow is the absolute last day for ads, and the 35th day is the last day you can get a bill out of here. It's a local bill. So if you don't have your ad run, it's over after tomorrow. My committee, Intergovernmental Coordination, will be meeting today at 2. I need all of you there. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Frazier for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia Working Family Legislative Caucus will meet upon adjournment in room 406. We'll be talking about affordable housing in room 406. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subcommittee 2 of Non-Civil Judiciary will meet in room 506 at 12:15. Subcommittee 2, 12:15 and 506 of the LOB.
Chair recognizes Chairman Alan Powell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the members of the Public Safety, Homeland Security, Tuesday afternoon, 3 o'clock. We've got some very important last-minute business to move out.
Chair recognizes Representative Thomas for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to let it be known that I have a resolution commending Gabrielle Douglas, the Olympian gymnastics. She will be in town on Friday, March 22nd at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And so there's those of you who would like to sign off on the resolution, it will be over here on the side, and I can give you more information about what time she will be there for a book signing. Also, there is a very distinguished Georgian, Dr. Asa Yancey, made his transition on March 9th, and he was the former medical director at Grady Hospital, the dean of the medical school at Emory University. Also, he served on the Atlanta City Council and was chair of the committee when they put together in Atlanta what they call the Atlanta Plan, which desegregated schools in the city of Atlanta. So his funeral will be this Saturday, March 16th. Dr. Asa Yancey's funeral will be this Saturday, March 16th, 1 o'clock at Friendship Baptist Church, 437 Mitchell Street. Thank you very much. The proclamation will be over to the left.
Many of you have made inquiry this week about the Powell family and Jessica Powell. Before we leave, I wanted to share with you, I just got a message from Chairman Jay Powell that Jess is resting peacefully. She's not yet awake. Got a little more surgery tomorrow. I know that many of you have been remembering her and the family in your prayers, and as you leave and go home, I would ask that you continue to do that. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move we now stand in recess until 5 p.m. on this very special day, at which time we shall adjourn until 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, March 20th, 2013.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m. today, and then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 20th, which will be day 35 of this legislative session. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. This House will be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m. and then will be adjourned until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 20th, 2013.